Hello and welcome to the February vlog on my channel. It is the 29th of February 2016. This day will not come around again until 2020. Think about that for a second. Back to the phone recordings because I just needed something quick to record my face on. I am not going to be showing my face a lot through this vlog, which means that it's not actually a vlog, but there you go, I'm going to still call it a vlog. So what you're going to see in the next 10-15 minutes is something that I've been building towards for the last 6 months. If you thought Rosenberg and Piscopo were good, well, take a look at this guy. What I'd like you guys to do is go into the description of this video, click the link right at the top, and read this with me. Once we're finished, it'd be lovely if you could comment on the blog post. I love a good football story. Before making FIFA career mode videos on YouTube, some of my downtime was spent on Football Manager forums, typing up furiously the progression of my latest save. It's been a long time since I developed my storytelling skills in this way, writing up about Football Manager, and in all honesty, I never thought I'd be back. I play a lot of FM, but don't go into much detail. The quick pick option is a personal favourite of mine. I would call myself casual, but there's nothing casual about playing it through the night, only wearing one item of clothing. My addiction started on the handheld versions of the game, and when I made the transition onto PC, a Manchester United career would kick off the new title and live on throughout a Football Manager's lifespan. I've been blessed with talented generated strikers, Sean Brown in Football Manager 12, Michael Ebbidge in Football Manager 13, and Alex Sloan in 14. All fantastic players who did wonderful things during their careers. All at a similar level, I ranked them in order of game longevity. Ebbidge bottom, Brown second, Sloan the best of the lot reaching 2027. It never sat well with me though. There was no question about Sloan's brilliance, but he was the only one we had outsourced and remained a boyhood Liverpool fan throughout. I would open the in-game editor deciding if to remove all traces of our fierce rivals. But what would be the point? I already knew he was a Liverpool fan. Someone needed to delete my memory. The man this story is dedicated to has already reached 2027, although a few years younger than the mighty Alex Sloan. For once it appeared that there was no wondrous English striker from the intakes. My attention fixed on a right midfielder named Adam Baisley, who would become a constant second best in the world. Now I know the game was just building up to the monumental moment of Mark Latham, born on the 24th of September 2000, a graduate from our own academy. Initial stats showed some promise, but never did I think at that point he would become the best there has ever been. Not only the best, but breaking records along the way in a fashion I didn't believe was possible, even on Football Manager. His beginnings were humble. In his first 3 seasons, he only managed the 1 league appearance. Growing up, he was behind the likes of Van Persie, James Wilson, and Lewandowski, so chances were few and far between. His stats were not as impressive as Baisley's the intake before, so naturally I didn't take much notice of him. He bagged 2 in the youth candidates game. This was followed up by a hat-trick in the next game against Plymouth Argyle's under-18s. During 2017 to 18, he put 5 past Frickley on his way to 13 goals that season. His success in the academy resulted in 2 senior games in the Champions League group stage against Maccabi Tel Aviv. Behind the scenes, he was developing into a fine young forward. Tutored by Robert Lewandowski and under the guidance of myself, he was slowly introduced to the professional game at the right times and in the right games. 2 run-outs in the 2018-19 season, scoring a brace against Brighton in the FA Cup would be the start of it all. And then I put here, like many of his wonderful milestones, I can't watch the memories back. It's a sad story of not knowing what you've got until it's gone. Now anybody who's played Football Manager will know that the highlights disappear after a while to make room for more information. That was the case here. Unfortunately, we don't have the goal against Brighton, but we do have his first league goal, and that's coming up very shortly. The 2019-20 season was his breakthrough season, making 42 appearances and scoring 22 goals, claiming the iconic number 10 shirt worn by some of United's finest. All of a sudden, he was the nation's darling, a new hope, His first league goal was in the opening Premier League game of that season. That 1-yard spectacular will always have a place in my heart. Even at this early stage, something separated Mark from the previous great English forwards I've had. The power he produced from either foot was unreal. He was breaking the fabric of what was possible in the game, hitting footballs harder than all before him. On the 27th of March 2020, he started and scored in his first international game for England. 2020 to 2021, Adam Baisley was now a key player for the reigning Premier League champions. He himself claimed the European Golden Boy Award in 2019. So all of my focus was now in the right places. However, it wouldn't be long before Latham wouldn't need my guidance. My protection. Standing at 6 foot and boasting the physical presence of a track and field athlete, he could very much hold his own against what the world could throw at him. 38 goals in 52 games as all Europe began to notice just what United had uncovered. The ratio was even better domestically, scoring 26 in 31 league games. Halfway through the 2021-22 season, Latham claimed the European Golden Boy Award as he became the fans' favourite at Old Trafford. This was mainly due to his iconic performance at Anfield. All this was achieved with massive pressure on young shoulders. Robert Lewandowski stunned United in pre-season, announcing his retirement at just 33 years old. It meant Latham was now in the first 11. We would have him up front for all the big games. What happened next is unprecedented. Grabbing both goals in the Community Shield, 4 in the home fixture against QPR, 3 away at Crystal Palace, 3 at Molineux, hitting 4 past Ajax during 2 fixtures, the iconic triumph at Anfield pictured above, 5 against Italian giants Roma, 4 at home against Stoke, a hat-trick facing Birmingham City, 3 past AS Monaco, and another 3 at Wigan, would put the youngster on 69 goals for the season with 1 game remaining. Wigan would be the victims of one of his greatest goals, but that's to come later. The team, as a result of Latham's crazy goal-scoring record, would be playing in the biggest game in European football for the first time in 11 years, and hoping to win it for the first time in 14. Standing in their way, the holders Real Madrid, who had won the competition a total of 11 times. United completely blitzed Madrid. The final score was 5-1, and it will be remembered as Baisley's final. But thanks to Mark's appetite for goals, I finally got my hands on that wonderful trophy. In my head, at least. The 70th and final goal of an incredible season. Now, many of you will be thinking, wow, 70 goals, big deal. Messi scored 74 in one season, keep up. That's very true. But did he do it in his first season as a guaranteed starter for Barcelona? Nope. By the end of the 2021-22 season, Mark Latham was a household name worldwide. He was the boy who eclipsed Gerd Muller's long-standing record, and he was after Messi's tally next. Internationally, he was giving people closer to home hope for the future. 15 months in, the England squad had brought 15 goals. National pride of football was up significantly anyway after winning Euro 2016, but it could never be compared in magnitude to a World Cup success like 1966. By the tender age of 22, Latham's superstardom was cemented. 100,000 supporters every home game witnessing the machine in action. Over the course of 2 seasons, he had become the focal point, and I was quickly building a team around him for maximum damage. Messi was also having quite a wonderful season over in Spain. Now 35, he was still pulling the strings for Barcelona. 21 goals in 42 appearances that calendar year showed that he still had what it takes, but surely he was hearing that Latham-sized juggernaut behind him. In comparison, my boy had 62 goals in 61 games, and quite rightly tipped to win the Balon d'Or. And the winner is Lionel Messi! The award was swiped from underneath his nose. For weeks to come, it would be splashed all over the front pages. The world hate the English! The world hate the English! I was devastated for the lad, who had come so far, to have won all the trophies before him, to outscore and out-assist Lionel Messi, but yet still be classed as second best. As much as it hurt in the beginning, it would be the fire that burnt in his heart for years to come. Not only to break Messi's record, but obliterate it. never to be overshadowed. We pick up the story on the 3rd of May 2023. A brutally dominant Manchester United side are ready for their second consecutive Champions League final. Latham can secure football greatness, but needs to put in a quality performance against Chelsea. 4 goals against Arsenal, 4 goals against our City rivals, and the same treatment against Liverpool were the highlights of a tremendous 72-goal season. With 1 game remaining, he would need 3 goals to break Messi's goal record. And then this is the goal that he scored against Wigan during that season. They're no match for us, lads. Second best, that's what they are. Go out there, prove why you are the best, and come back with a little piece of history. Oh, Mark, focus on the trophy. The team comes before the individual. If it's meant to happen, it will. A victory would make Manchester United the first team to retain the UEFA Champions League since its 1992 rebranding. The 2-0 scoreline was pretty harsh on Chelsea, but like always, there was a white-haired hero dragging us through. A hero that would be my next captain. We were still looking at a 22-year-old. A 22-year-old. Changing my perceptions on what is leadership and motivation. My days of throwing the armband to the oldest defender were over, because we had him. So he set out again. A new season and a new strike partner in 19-year-old Cole Nias. It would be the start of a beautiful partnership that brought the best out of both players. Like I said, I was building a team around Latham, and what we had in Cole was another impeccable striker that would push Latham to greater heights. In the 2023-24 season, the inner demons were released. Closing in on the peak of his powers, Latham managed to score a total of 79 goals, making it the highest total in history. By now, my close friends had realised what kind of animal I had discovered. The silverware kept pouring in as if it was the daily newspaper popping through the postbox. This included the one that evaded Latham for so long. Community Shield, Club World Cup, League Cup, Premier League, FA Cup, and a 6th Champions League in the club's history. Latham equalled Charlton's 249 goal record on the 6th of January 2024 against Blackburn, then took the record 4 days later on the 10th of January against West Ham. He'd go on to score another 3 goals in that game. He was only aged 23 years, 3 months and 17 days when he became Manchester United's leading goal scorer of all time. Could he top that? At the end of the 2024-25 season, Latham, now 24 years old, had broke his own record with a goal tally of 82. And of course the team had won everything. Again. A young team can only get better, more experienced after each game. The millions spent building this dream team had been fully justified, but not fully realised until the 2025-26 season. Latham had started quick, bagging braces, hat-tricks all over the shop. I expected this frenetic pace to slow down at some stage in the season, but Mark being Mark, he had another surprise up his sleeve. By January, his goal tally stood in the mid-50s. That's when I took notice of what he actually could achieve before the last ball was kicked that campaign. Quite magnificent stats, 102 goals in a single season. The club season was over, but Latham set off to complete another chapter in his career. His sights set on the World Cup of 2026. His legacy at club level already cemented, the biggest prize in world football was beckoning. Outside club football, he was dazzling on an international stage. And would it surprise any of you to know, before the World Cup of 2026, he had already broke all scoring records. Sir Bobby Charlton and Wayne Rooney simply passed names as Mark journeyed to the US with 69 goals under his belt. He was simply a phenomenon, the kind that England has needed for 60 years. This is Group D in the 2026 World Cup. You can see that we played Japan, Morocco and Greece. His scoring record continued into the knockout rounds. Turkey and Colombia both eliminated through Latham's strikes. France went down next, but Latham couldn't get on the score sheet, the only stage where he failed to score. The 2026 World Cup final. 4 years before this moment, I was handed a chance to manage the national team. Instead, leading England out was Jose Mourinho. He had taken the risk, and was rewarded for doing so. What a moment! Mark Latham recreates the great Sir Geoff Hurst, and scores a sensational hat-trick in the World Cup final. My boy had achieved what all kids dream about, that goal to send your nation into euphoria. No amount of words could describe how proud I was as the developer of such an incredible athlete. No amount of words could describe how disappointed I was at myself for not taking the job. No matter who was in charge of United in the time, this kid was destined for greatness. Could it be that I'm not the centre of attention in my own game? Jose! 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 The English fans pleaded for him to stay. Little did they know, but behind the scenes, I had already accepted a contract and was about to become his successor. I was not going to let the chance pass me by once more. The announcement sent shockwaves through Old Trafford. We all know such a responsibility needed my full attention. This would be my last stand as boss, ready to step down in the summer of 2027. The send-off was the essence of beautiful football from the word go. Thrashing our local rival City 6-0 in the season's curtain raiser would pave the way. Records tumbled. An early sending off for Burnley gave us the biggest winning margin in Premier League history. For the final time we had won it all. The club was celebrating its 30th league success. The FA Cup and Champions League to follow, as I said an emotional farewell to my boys and the staff members. Now I'm going to stop it right there because before we get on to the final chapter of this story, you guys have got a decision to make. You see, the last part of this story was written today. I live streamed Euro 2028 and the World Cup of 2030. If you'd like to watch what happened and live through the reactions, then the link will be down in the description. Please stop this video. Also, you'll get little extras like a rundown of the Manchester United squad. So I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to click off this video before I scroll down. Okay, the poison chalice. This is not happening. Peterson falls to the floor in the Euro 2028 final. The ever so reliable Latham gashed his leg open in the quarters, and with Baisley out too, there was no hope. The other members of the team fought hard and were 13 minutes away from glory, but with the legs tiring and only one substitute left, thanks to the injury crisis, France bombarded us. Still, the 3-2 loss didn't concern me. Think of what we could do with everyone fit. Individually, Latham was still top of his class. With a 7th straight Balon d'Or win, the prospect of managing him once more was mouth-watering. Right there you can see the disaster that was World Cup 2030. I had sacrificed the best club job in the world for this. My reputation scarred, Latham and Baisley looking lost with Luis Enrique at the helm. My time was up. It's just such a shame that a glittering career didn't have the fairy tale ending. I just couldn't understand what had happened. All the right ingredients, but yet England couldn't find a win in their home tournament. Sometimes it's just not meant to be. The United youngsters, going that far backwards in such a short amount of time, proved they needed me as much as I needed them. We could exist without each other, but without the guidance, Latham could never have been Latham. What he achieved in such a short amount of time will no doubt influence the next generation of English players. As a little added extra, I have simulated all the way up to 2036. Now let's have a look at Latham when he's 35 years old. He's still bravely holding on to the stats. In 153 appearances for England, he scored 163 goals. And now the fun really begins for me, because I've got to go back to the start and add up every single goal he scored at club level. Over the course of the career that he's had, he has scored 774 goals. And you can see on screen that he scored 498 goals in the Premier League. If had a little bit more time and could manage this Manchester United side a little bit longer, I'm pretty sure we would have seen Mark Latham hit 1,000 goals. In fact, I'm positive we would have seen Mark Latham hit 1,000 goals. And that's all that we have time for in this video. From me and the evergreen Mark Latham, thank you for watching this video. I'm sure that you've pointed out 1,000 grammar mistakes. I got a D in my English Literature GCSE. If you've enjoyed our story time, then please click on that like button. This has been Cutzy, and I'll see you next time.